Oh, goodness. Good morning.
Morning.
When did class start?
Morning, Vern. Morning, Mackenzie.
Does class start at 45?
Yes, it does. Morning, Dakota.
Morning.
Morning, Justin. Morning, Caitlin. Morning, Jaden. Morning, Allison. We'll go here at 47. Morning, Lily. Morning, Isabella. Morning, Bryce. Okay. Okay, so we're going to get started. I just want to recap a little bit about the warm-ups just because I see some unfamiliar faces. We do a warm-up every time we meet. They're typically have to do with class content, either before or after I've taught it. You don't have to have the answer correct. Just give me your best educational guess. Please do not Google it because I'm not giving Google credit. Okay, so that'll be worth a 0. Leaving it blank is worth a 0. If you're absent and you leave it blank, it's 0. They are required whether you're here or not, okay? You get 2 points every time we do them, and it does add up over time to quite a substantial amount. So always make sure you are doing them. I do give you 2 minutes every day to do them. So you might as well just keep up with us and do them when we are having our 2 minutes. They are in Google Classroom always, and I'm gonna go ahead and use my screen to pull them up for you. But you can access them on your own without me. They are in Google Classroom. So, hi, Zach. Okay, so you go to classwork, you go to the first week of the quarter, and it's under warm-ups, October 26th through November 6th. I always encourage you to make a individual document or doc and put that date in the header or, you know, up in the title so that you can always find it and it's an easy access for you. Okay, so here we go with the warm-up. And you only have to answer N1. You don't even have to write the question. Just put some of the question in your answer. Make sure it has caps and ends and complete sentences. So you can start. I was going to wait for the screen to present, but that might be a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and start us off. Oh, there we go. In 3, 2, 1. Maybe start. I don't know. There we go. Okay, starting now. 2 minutes. Please do them. They're super easy, and the points do add up. Okay. I'm giving you class time, so let's get them done. $50 seconds. $15 seconds. Okay, time is up. All right, I just want to go into your classroom and show you some things. So these assignments right here, I did not put in the old 9 weeks because I just had assigned them last week and I wanted to make sure everyone had an opportunity to get them in. So make sure that these get done. So like right now, for the Lifestyle Choice for Wellness, I have 10 people that haven't turned them in. And then for the assessment, I have 9 people that haven't turned them in. The last set of warm-ups, I have 10 people that have not turned them in. And the monkey bread, whoops, I have 6 people that still need to turn them in, okay? So remember when I do demos, I give you the video, you watch them, and then you fill out the demo page. If you have questions about that, you can look back at your first demo, and that's where I actually have a document on filling out the demo page and how it's supposed to look. Okay, but we did that a while ago. All right, so the one thing I need you to do right now is to go into second quarter, week 1, and I need you to take the pretest, but I need to open it. So let me do that really quick. And I'm really slow, so I'm going to turn off my camera so I can be faster. Okay, so I'm going to open the pretest. I'm giving extra credit for anyone that takes it. So if you, come in, if somebody were to come in late or whatever, I expect them to come to office hours to take the pretest if they wanted that extra credit. Okay, so the test is now open. I need you to go to quarter 2 and fill out the pretest. Bryce, the answer to that question is yes. Okay, so when you get done with the pretest, if you could come back and just say done, then I'll have a better idea of how much time. I want to give it 10 minutes, so let's try to meet back here at 10:03, or try to get it done by that time. And if you get done before that, just come back and put done in the chat so I can keep track. And if you have questions, put it in the chat too. Like if you can't find it. Zach, can you just put in the chat whether you got it to open? So I know. Thank you. Try to finish up in the next couple minutes. I'll give you till 10:05 and then we're going to move on. So for those of you that are waiting, we're going to take a few more notes today. So if you had a document open or had some paper you were using for the notes, you might want to get that out. Remember that any notes on the test virtually are okay to use. If we were back in the classroom though, it would only be the written notes that you could use on the test. So the ones you hand wrote, the ones that you hand wrote. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then they're kind of talking about a new late work policy for virtual. And so know that that's going to be rolling out here in the next couple weeks. So I would suggest trying to get all your work in and on time, the best that you can, but know that there probably in the future will be some penalty, whether it be, you know, that 20% will be taken off of the assignment if it's turned in late. We're just trying to avoid, you know, those people that turn it in on time receive the full credit and those that don't get some, you know, minor penalty. But that's something that's going to be rolling out. So just kind of keep that in mind for the upcoming weeks to try to make sure you get your work in. Okay, so we're going to move on. If you're not done, try to finish up. I'm going to close the test in about 5 minutes. So hopefully you'll be able to be done by that time. Okay, so we're going to go back to our notes. And I'm just going to recap a little bit for those that weren't here. So what we did is we defined wellness the last time we were together. And we were talking about it being kind of the quality of life or the state of being in good health with 3 areas of concentration. And that was physical, social, and mental health. And all of those coming together for wellness. And so that's kind of where we ended up the last time that we were together. We also looked at what we call a wellness continuum, where on one end we have premature death and on the other end we have optimal health. And what we did a worksheet on was figuring out what things were considered premature death and what type of things were considered optimal health. So premature death would be something like, you know, cancer, let's say. Optimal health would be like, you know, being physically active and eating healthy and things like that. Okay, and so that's kind of what we were looking at last time, just learning a little bit about wellness and how, you know, health and wellness kind of go together. And then in the next unit, we'll be branching off specifically into nutrition and doing a little bit more, more personalized with that. But this is just kind of an overview of health and how it leads us into nutrition and how nutrition can affect our wellness. And so we're going to continue on. And so the first thing you need to know for your test is the 3 areas of wellness. So make sure you have those written down. Most of us probably, you know, it makes sense or it's common sense for us. But wellness means much more than not just being sick. It means eating healthy, being physically fit, and you need to make sure you are progressing in 3 of these areas. Each contribute to your total sense of wellness, and together they're going to make you look, feel, and act healthy. Okay, So we're going to talk about each one of these a little bit more in depth. So physical health, remember anything that's underlined is pretty much a test question, whether it be true and false, multiple choice, fill in the blank, essay, it's going to be on that test, okay? So physical fitness is all your body parts working in harmony with each other. So what can affect your physical health would be something like getting too little rest or eating too much, too fast, which could cause an upset stomach, lack of physical activity, stress, poor sanitation, reckless actions, tobacco, alcohol, all can lead to an issue with your physical health. So choosing lifestyle behaviors that avoid these can help you stay in good physical health. So I also look at physical health as kind of like your body, you know, it's physically how you care for yourself. Okay, so mental health has to do with how you feel about yourself and the world around you. And right now, I think that a lot of us are having some difficulty with our mental health, me included. You know, just being kind of separated from how life used to be and having to, you know, deal with life in a different way is stressful because it's different. You know, whenever you do something different, it's stressful, whether you embrace it and it's a good stress for you because you're kind of branching out and you're excited about the new experience, or it's a bad stress because you're allowing it to be internalized and getting upset and, you know, you're worried and things like that. And so all those things, you know, can play a big part in our mental health. And it's understandable right now if that's something that is not optimal for you, okay? I think we're all struggling with it. And, you know, just being able to reach out to somebody to talk to them, or, you know, some people like to write things down, or they like to, you know, do something active to try to get their mind off the conflict that's, you know, causing an issue for them. You know, we all need to find that happy medium that can make our mental health more level and, you know, to keep it as optimal as it possibly can. But like I said, you know, it's a struggle right now, and I'm struggling with it as well. Okay, then we have your social health, which basically describes how you get along with other people. You know, there's a lot of people that don't like conflict or disagreement, and they try to avoid it at all costs. Okay, and that's not good for social health because you're not expressing yourself, you're kind of pushing your feelings down. And sometimes, unfortunately, for some people, they keep their feelings down so deep, and eventually they're going to boil over and come out in ways that they're going to hurt somebody either with their words or hurt someone physically. And so, you know, you need to learn to communicate and get your feelings out and be heard, even though, you know, it may be difficult for you to do that because you're not used to it. But communication is the key. And you need to, you know, at this age, you're learning how to communicate with others. You're figuring out what works, what doesn't work. What works with this person may not work with somebody else. And it's all a process of living life and trying to maneuver your way through and figure out the best way, you know, to get along with people. And that's really key to, you know, our success, is knowing that people are different, and, you know, you can agree to disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but, you know, to yell at somebody or to put them down because they believe something different than you is not okay. You know, you don't have to agree with it. You don't have to abide by it, but, you know, you do need to be respectful. Okay, holistic approach is basically the whole person. So when you get old enough to pick your doctor, you may want to pick someone that's more holistic, which they look at all areas of health, not just the physical side. So that should be mental, not metal. So they should, you know, really look at you as a whole and diagnose things according to that. You know, like sometimes if you are not feeling yourself, you know, maybe you're having social issues or mental difficulties, they should be able to either get you the help you need, which is called a referral, or they might be able to assist you in some way. But that's a doctor taking a holistic approach, and I think that's kind of where we're going in society, is, taking on more of a holistic approach, but some physicians are not there. They don't do the whole holistic approach. It's just the physical side of it. Okay, I'm going to correct that blunder right there so I don't have to deal with that again. Hello. Okay, so I have a question for you, and this is going to require you to either use the chat or unmic yourself and respond to me, is what causes too early death and disability? Okay, I need 5 people to tell me what causes too early death and disability. What, in your opinion, would cause that? Smoking, okay? Give me another one. What would cause too early death and disability? Oh, Bryce, you nailed it. Okay, so it's personal lifestyle choices, okay? So that contributes to about 51% of whether you die too early or have a disability in your lifetime, okay? And some of the ones that you might be thinking about also besides smoking would be maybe like drinking or stress or eating too high fat of a diet or not exercising enough, and all those are personal lifestyle choices. You make the choice to do those things, okay? And so basically you can look at it as simplistic as this: however you choose to live is going to determine your life expectancy, how long you're going to live. And I do have a little graph I kind of want to show you, and this, I'll talk more about this as we progress further, but if you look at this pie chart, 51% right here is based on personal lifestyle choices. And then this blue part right here has to do with healthcare. So our healthcare does fail some people, and it causes them to die or have or to have an injury. And then our other part of this orange part, has to do with genetics and heredity. So we can't really do a ton about that, okay? But it's not the biggest piece of the pie here, okay? Yes, it plays a part, but it doesn't have to be the end-all be-all. And then the gray piece is environmental assault, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. And like Bryce was saying, personal lifestyle choice is the biggest piece of the pie, okay? All right. So now I want you to go in Google Classroom, and I want you to open this document called The Leading Causes of Death right here, okay? Open that up. And what I want you to do is I want you to tell me, so this is your age group, okay? You guys have 5 killers. I want you to put them in rank order. So whatever you think is number 1, you're going to put under individual guess. So like if you think cancer is the number 1 killer for your age group, put a 1. If you think accidents are the number 2 killer, put a 2. If you think homicide is number 3, then put a 3. And remember, homicide is killing another person. So for your age group, you have a 1 to 5. Then you're going to go down to the general population, and you are going to tell me what you think is doing all the killing for our general population. So, like if you think it's lung cancer is number 1, then put 1 here, okay? If you think a stroke is number 2, then put a 2 under individual guesses. And then I need you to come down and answer these questions according to just the top 10. So explain in a few sentences your reasoning for selecting the number 1 top killer. Okay, so whatever you chose was number 1, just explain to me what you chose and why you chose it. And then I want you to think about this top 10 list, and there is one on here that was number 1 100 years ago. Which one do you think was number 1 100 years ago? Put it down, and then tell me why you suppose the list has changed, okay? All right, so if you have a question, put it in the chat or unmic yourself and ask. But otherwise, for the next 3 to 4 minutes, I want you rank ordering your killers and the general population's killers. Okay, so do that now, please. gonna give you 2 more minutes to figure that out. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is a group top 10. Okay, so if you look at the next column, it says group guesses. So if I put you in a group with like 4 people and I'm going to put a lead person in the group, what you want to do is talk about what the top 10 is that you guys have. Hold on. Okay, so like if I was in a group with a couple people, I would say, okay, what did you have for adolescence for your number 1? And then we talk about what we think is number 1, and we put that in the group. Okay, so your group answers should be the same as each group member. So if I was with Justin, Caitlin, and Caitlin Lamb, I would have the same answer as they have under the group guesses. Okay, because you want to kind of work as a team as to what you all could come up with as a list for the top 5. And then I need you to go in and do the top 10 as well. So you're going to be in your groups for about 5 to 8 minutes, and you're going to be working on your top 5 as a group, and then what your group can agree to as the top 10. Okay. All right. So let me give you a lead person for that. Okay, so in group number 1, I'm going to have Mackenzie. I'm going to have you be our lead in there, which means, you know, you just kind of lead the discussion. Our second group is going to be, let's see, Jacob W., if you could lead the discussion in there. And then our last and final group, Dakota, if you could lead the discussion in there. So I'm going to go ahead and have you go to these groups, and then I'll be pulling you back in about, let's say, 10:30. I'll be pulling you back, and we'll be going over the answers that we came up with as a group. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and open those rooms, and you're going to be sucked out into them. Okay, Will and Caitlin, it looks like you guys are still looping. Unless you decline the request. Everybody's coming back slowly but surely. Okay, so I want to hear from the groups as to what you guys got, and I'm going to use mine as the main sheet just to kind of hear what you got. So make sure you can see my screen. Okay, so groups, tell me what out of adolescence did you feel number one was? And I can hear from anyone. What did you think number one was? Hello? Group members, what was number one?
I'm thinking accidents for number one. Back off, Joe.
Jacob, what?
Accidents for number one.
Okay, and why do you think that?
Because I was well, first of all, I was kind of zooming the web like a week ago maybe, and that's what I saw, like one of the number one causes
Yeah.
for teens.
Okay. All right, what do you think number two is, people? It's number two. What are you going to put with number two? Anyone? Number two, what do you think? Can you guys see my screen? Zach, can you see?
we can see it.
Okay, it's not presenting on my side, so, okay. So Zach thinks number two is suicide, okay. What do you think number three is out of the remaining choices? What do you think number three is out of the remaining choices? Cancer, and someone said homicide. So somebody else besides Caitlin and Bryce, tell me out of cancer and homicide, which one do you want to go with?
Cancer.
Okay. So number three is cancer. And then what do you think about number four? What do you think? Out of what remains, what's number four?
Homicide.
Homicide, okay. And then that would make this 5. Okay. So I want to show you what the numbers should be. And it's in my PowerPoint, so I just got to get back to it. Doo-dee-doo. Okay, right here. Okay. Jeez Louise. All right, so if you look at this unintentional injury, which is 48%, and you might think, well, what kind of injury? So over here, it kind of tells you how people are dying, okay, from that as far as your age group. So unintentional poisoning, 7%, unintentional drowning, 5%. The other one is just other unintentional deaths. And then if you go over here, it talks about other as being the number 2. And then number 3 is going to be homicide. And number 4 is suicide. And then number 5 would be cancer. Okay, so on your chart, what I'd like you to do is to add those in. Okay, so it said number 1 is accidents. Number 1 is accidents. Number 2 is other. Number 3 was homicide. And then 4, geez Louise, 3, and then 4, and then 5. Oh wait, no, I did that wrong. 4, and then 5. There we go, finally. Okay, so these are the right answers. I'm just gonna highlight them just to remind myself that those are the right ones. Okay, so let's go down to the leading causes of death. And you tell me what you put down for your number 1. What do you think is doing all the killing on the general population? What is doing all the killing? Okay, so we have 2. Okay, so Zach says cancer, Bryce says accidents. Someone tell me what should go. Out of those two, which one do you want me to put as number one? Cancer or accidents? Which one? Either unmic or put it in the chat. Cancer or accidents? Out of those two, which one is number one, do you think?
Accidents.
Thank you. Okay, where is that? All right, this will be under our group. Okay, 1. What do you think number 2 would be? Would that be cancer then, or do you want to choose something different? What would be number 2? Number 2, heart disease. Okay, number 2, heart disease. Okay, what do you think number 3 is? Number 3, out of what's left, what is number 3? There's no right or wrong right now, you know, it doesn't, just tell me an answer and I'm going to put it in. Okay, lung cancer, you think is number 3. What's number 4 then? What's number 4? Zach says diabetes and so does Bryce. Well, Bryce says something different, but. All right, so we'll do diabetes as number 4. What do you think number 5 is then? Do you think 5 is suicide? If you agree, then put it in the chat and I'll put that next, or if you think something else. Okay, Bryce says stroke maybe. Okay, so 5, stroke. Okay, what do you think number 6 is? Out of the options that remain, what is 6? It can be Alzheimer's, suicide, pneumonia, influenza, kidney, or cancer. What do you think our number 6 is? Okay, Mackenzie says influenza and Bryce says Alzheimer's. Out of those two, which one is going to be our number 6? Which one? Alzheimer's or influenza is number 6? Alzheimer's. Okay, so we'll do that as 6. Okay, and what do you think 7 would be? Our options, okay, somebody, I think it was Zach, said 7. We have suicide, kidney disease, and cancer. Which one do you think is our number 8? Number 8. Out of what remains, what is number 8? Kidney. Okay, so now we have cancer and suicide. Which one is number 9? And that'll tell me which one 10 is. Cancer, okay. Okay, so I'm going to show you what the CDC has, and they, you know, they don't do this every year just because it's a huge undertaking. So they probably do it every 4 to 5 years for statistical reasons. And so this statistics was last taken in 2017 from the Center for Disease Control. And all physicians have to report to them, which is why it's a big undertaking. So I'm going to show you what the answers are, and then we'll go back and put them in there, okay? So in 2017, okay, heart disease was killing 647,000 people in general. Cancer was the number 2 killer, close behind at almost 600,000. Accidents is number 3 at 169,000, so quite a significant drop there. Then we have chronic lower respiratory disease, which I would attribute to smoking or vaping, which is 160. Stroke, 149, and if you know anything about a stroke, it's in your brain. Alzheimer's disease used to be the number 10. It's now coming up, obviously, 121. Let me put these down here. So... And then, so Alzheimer's was number 6. Diabetes is number 7. And that is 83,000. The flu is still afflicting people. And so that one is number 8. Number 9 is the kidney disease. And number 10 is suicide. And I was listening a little bit to one of the groups, and Vern was talking about suicides for this year being up quite substantially. So, you know, we may see that jump up in the rankings in the next couple of years, and it may not be at number 10. It may be actually up higher. So if we're going to do this, number 1 was heart disease. Number 2 was cancer. Number 3 is accidents. 4 is lung disease. 5 is a stroke. 6 is Alzheimer's. Ooh, we got that one right, and stroke. So good job on that. Our team was in sync. Number 7 was diabetes. We were off a little bit on that one. Number 8 was influenza and pneumonia, which we were close. And number 9 is kidney disease. We were close to that, and we were correct on suicide. So we had some that were right as we did them as a class. So again, I'm going to highlight those so that I know which ones are correct. Okay, so which one do you guys think was popular 100 years ago? Which one do you think made it to the number 1 100 years ago? What is your thoughts? What is that?
I said heart disease. Heart disease.
Okay, nope, that wasn't number 1.
Influenza,
Yes, why do you think so?
because they didn't have modern medicine.
Exactly, okay. And so did anybody choose something besides heart disease as the number 1 killer? Nobody chose a different one? It was all heart disease? Okay, well, cancer, go
I
ahead.
did influenza.
Okay. And I know exactly why you did that. Okay, because of the state that we are right now. And maybe we will see a flux in that as we progress into this pandemic. So, you know, in the next couple of years, we might see definitely some different movement on those top 10s. When I was doing this a few years ago, HIV/AIDS was number 1. And sorry, I'm not number 1, number 10. Number 10. Okay, and that's when it was a big virus that was very popular and was affecting lots of people, and it made it to the top 10. But as you notice, it no longer exists on the top 10. You could look up where it falls. I know it's still, you know, probably in the top 20, but it is not on the top 10 anymore. Okay, so since we completed this worksheet, you're the only class that we completed it with. What I need you to do is turn it in. And then I can give you points for doing it. Make sure it's all done though. Remember, we are in America and we write incomplete sentences, so make sure that you are doing so. And I'm talking about the answers at the bottom of the page. So make sure that that gets done. And if anybody you know of is not here, they can always watch the YouTube channel for the answers, okay? So are there any questions before we head out? Thursday, I made jack-o'-lantern cream grilled cheese. So that's going to be your demo that you'll have on Thursday. And then we'll continue with some of our notes again on Thursday as well. So kind of look for that to be towards the end of the week when we meet up on Thursday. Okay, so I'm all set. If you're set, you can stay behind if you have a question or concern. But otherwise, I'll see you Thursday and we'll talk more then. Have a good one.